Hey guys, welcome back to more AFK Arena. In today's video, we're going to be testing out the maxed out Belinda. Now, her engraving has been adjusted, I'll call it. I don't know if, to me, I don't think it's worth it. I feel like her engraving is just for the stats now. There's no benefit to it, because if we look at what her engraving 60 does now, after Belinda has been possessed by the Divine Flame for 12 seconds, the duration of her possession will be extended. But basically, because she ults so fast, it's already baked into her kit that she's pretty much going to be permanently possessed. So there might be a very niche situation where this applies, but I doubt at all, really. So if you're going for engravings, it's just because you really want the stats. The secondary condition of no longer using her normal attacks just didn't make sense. I guess it was never meant to replace things. They just thought that was a way to balance it by extending the duration but getting rid of her normals. But she's basically got an infinite duration on it because she ults so fast. So if you are investing in her, just keep that in mind. It's still probably worth it for the stats, to be honest. But in general, yeah, you're not really getting much out of it. But she is still a pretty decent beast, even in campaign. Now, when we look at her, the early thoughts are that because she ignores defense, it's like she doesn't care about one side of the scaling. We saw it in the Riz boss damage, which was the last video, when we looked at that. But even in scaling in campaign, I'm not too sure of the effect of defense. I'm not around the deep numbers behind the game, but at least there's one. She does have to worry about health pools, because that's something she's got to punch through, but at least she doesn't have to worry about her damage being mitigated by scaling levels of defense. So the thing with her is that she does take time to ramp up and get to that point. So she is going to mainly want, at this point, more sustain control type teams that can last a little bit, and then she can start melting the enemy. So that is the type of team that I think she's going to work in at the moment. Have to give a massive shout out to Artie for giving me some team suggestions for this video to take a look at, that we're going to demonstrate over here on Chiasma. But I think she is definitely a viable option, but I don't know if I still don't think she's like an option that free-to-play players should have on their list, unless you just love the design. Obviously, that's always a thing. If you just love the character, go nuts. Doesn't matter. But I think she's definitely viable. So if you do go for her, you do get some good use out of her. I just think there's better options, like, you know, for me, Solus, Brutus, and stuff like that. But maybe I'll get some more concise thoughts around this, ask some people, get some brains trust together, and I'll come back with a video going through the priority of Awakened Heroes now that Belinda is inside the game. So let's jump into the test. So the first thing we're going to look at is going to be an Ulna Grizzle. Now, the fantastic thing about Ulna Grizzle is it buys time, so it allows her to shine. So she will work as a nice DPS in this. For a lot of players, unless you're a big whale, you know, Ulna Grizzle is going to work for most people without Belinda. But when you get to this stage, you do have to really tune it up to get it to work, and having a really solid damage dealing option for it is going to be decent. So going to take a look at this here, see what she can do in this one. Obviously, we have Odin. Now, with the way her fireball works, where it burns and then does AoE damage, I feel like grouping is a really strong effect to have for her. It's not 100% necessary, but it does help her speed up that damage that she can deal, because she's going to be dealing that splash damage a lot better on grouped up enemies. So let's take a look at her in this team. We'll do a couple tries. If we can't get a win, we'll come back when we do get one. Let's put it on auto and let's take a look. So she gets one shot there. Let's try again. Okay, so there you go. We did have the Odin die in this one, but he was the only one. And as you can see, really, really solid damage up there with the Grizzle. Now, sometimes she can deal more than Grizzle, but let's just take a look at the replay. I'm going to put it on 2x speed. I feel like 2x speed is manageable. So she gets dragged in, and I just want you to notice, this is what I talk about. Like, I feel like it's a very ramp up style of play. Now, obviously, we have half the damage coming from Grizzle as well, which is fantastic. And his ramps up as well, because as he gets more skeletons out, he gets that effect. But I just wanted to look at towards the end of this fight, as long as you can survive, you can start seeing the pressure come out. Now, as you can see, we got the unit at the front there, which is the totem thing that's going to get destroyed. But when we look at health bars, keep in mind, she doesn't get buffed till third. So she does take a while before she actually gets buffed. We do reset the Shimura there, which is absolutely clutch. But now watch these guys here. Now that we've gone this far into the battle, just watch them melt. Just watch the health bars just disappear pretty much after this one. After this next ult, you'll just go, see you later. And you can just see him. Like, it's just, and like I said, it's not the ult. The ult is not doing the damage. It's just like that burn damage along with the obviously Grizzle skeletons, and we just sort of melt them towards the end of that. So that is the first team I wanted to look at. The next team we're going to take a look at over here is actually going to be a 5-pull. I know people meme on me for saying 5-pull for everything, but hey, 5-pull's a cool thing. So yeah. I'm an idiot. Hey, it is what it is. All right, so let's take a look at this one once again. I know this one works. I'll jump back if we don't get it in the first try. But let's just jump in here. We'll put it on 4 times speed quickly, and then we can slow it down and look at it again. So the grouping, once again, takes really strong effect. We've got a bunch of units that have really strong survival so that we can buy some time. It's a really strange way to play 5-pull in a survival type sense. But once you've got all those enemies grouped up, obviously 5-pull is a great strategy. But you can see that she just manages to like put those burns out, and it just melts units. It literally just melts units. It's quite fantastic. So there's that one. We'll just grind through this. I do have the animation on. I do apologize. It feels like every time I reset the game, the animations come back on. I don't know how to get rid of it. But there we go. There's that one. And as you can see, the huge damage coming out of her. And once again, that ult feels like a buff. It's more of a buff with a tiny bit of damage, but it looks really flashy. And then it's just the bombs that just burn the hell out of the enemies, and it's just ticking burns that just go boom, 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 boom. And then you've got ignore defense on top of guaranteed crits, which just makes her an absolute savage. And that type of 5-pull I really like, with 2 really tanky cheat death type units in the front row. So you can sort of control the enemy team a little bit. You've also got obviously Geralt in there who has the control, also has the cheat death. We got some it's just a really solid formation that I do really like with her. You got your chicken ear on core, tanky, bit of CC, and then we've just got the Belinda in there who can just absolutely melt. So that is an amazing team that I really like that Artie showed us there. And then the next one we're going to look at, let's bounce out again and take a look. And keeping in mind, this is a pretty decent deficit that we're at on Chiasma. Like, it's pretty much pushing the limits of power, I believe, still. So what are we, 875 versus a 1283? So that's what, like a 408 level deficit? Did I get that right? I think I did. Something like that, you know. It's a decent deficit, 408, I think. Okay, so let's take a look at her in the Da Vinci team. So I don't know if that's still formed up here. I might have to recraft this team. I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so this one's over in Tower, and I just wanted to show you guys this one to compare her to Awakened Thane. Keeping in mind, this is a bit of a lower deficit, but the thing about this is this was a fast battle, so she didn't even have time to fully ramp up, and you can really see the damage that Thane's doing. And even though you don't feel the impact of Belinda, it's apparent. Like, yes, she's only done about half of Thane's damage, but in a short fight where she doesn't even get to ramp up properly, that flame damage is still really, really nice. And you can think about it, if a fight like this went on longer, it would get even better. And like I said, her with Da Vinci is just fantastic. If you can survive till Da Vinci paints everyone, it just allows her the time to just go ahead and melt teams. So let's go ahead and take a look. We'll put it on 2 times speed. But as you can see with this one, it's very apparent when Thane's doing damage. Like, you see that, you go, okay, like, that is damage coming from Thane. Whereas Belinda's, it's just more, like, you look at that ult, and then you look at what Thane does, and you go, okay, that's Thane damage. But the burning from Belinda is just still putting in work here. And keeping in mind, she hasn't even stacked up to the 12 seconds, where she's going to be ignoring defense, guaranteeing crits, and all that good stuff. So I just think this is a good way to demonstrate that, yes, she still has decent damage, but the way she's really going to melt teams, seeing as this is a bit of a lower deficit, is to go in those more sustained teams / control teams. Anything with Ulna where you're protecting yourself, you're buying the time. Anything with, the Da Vinci to be able to CC really hard and buy more time. And like I said, that 5-pull where you get like 2 tanky units with cheat deaths that can sort of give a bit of control and buy some time, really solid, because the grouping effect is something else that I think works really well with her. But anyway, guys, that is the first sort of summary of maxed out Belinda, giving her a test. Those are some team recommendations that if you've got a trial version or something, if you want to test them out, see how you go. But like I said, for me, I'm still undecided. I'm personally not going to pull for an Awakened Belinda. But she definitely has usability. She definitely has options, but I still think there's other Awakened heroes I'd rather go for at this stage personally. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.